This is Michael Tosner for Home Energy Alterations, and we are in a basement in New Jersey. And in this video we're going to be talking about duct sealing and insulation and how they can help reduce your energy bills. So this customer had called us up for an energy audit because they had high energy bills. And what we found with their forced air system was that in the basement they had a lot of air leakage through their duct system. So what we found in the basement was some substandard contracting work that had been done previously during a kitchen renovation. Some flexible duct work had just been duct taped to some rigid ducts that had been truncated during laying of a new floor. Duct tape, although it's called duct tape, you don't want to use duct tape on ducts. What you want to use is UL 181 foil tape and mastic, and we're going to show you that in a second. The other thing we found was a floor register for another vent had just been removed, and the vent had just been left in there, basically blowing up against the bottom of the floor in the basement. So these were two big registers, wide open registers in the basement that weren't necessary to heat unconditioned space. Here's a picture of what the removed floor register looked like when we put the thermal imaging camera on it. You can see a lot of heat just blasting against the floor and basically going nowhere, staying in the basement. This is one of the open registers that they had in the basement. There was another one just like this, so they had basically 4 wide open registers in a pretty small basement. And all that heat was leaking out through the basement through single pane glass windows that had never been replaced. The upstairs had been totally renovated, but the downstairs windows were just single pane and they were cracked and broken. So you can imagine what this was doing to their energy bills. In the warmest room in your house has the worst windows, and they're cracked and they're leaking. All that energy and that expense of heating that air or cooling that air is just going right out the window. Duct leakage in the unconditioned space, the attic or the basement, is really a big energy loss. And when you think about it, do you really want to be providing a nice cozy environment for your machinery in your basement or the spiders in your attic? Most people would say no. So we went about fixing the problems. We started with flexible duct tubing. We got the right adapter for it and fitted it properly onto the existing ductwork. And the next biggest issue was the register that was just pointed up toward the floor. What we wanted to do was cut that back all the way to the plenum. As much of the ductwork as we could remove, we wanted to remove because you don't want that conductive heat loss through extra vents or ductwork that you don't need. So we cut that all the way back to the plenum, the register that was pointing toward the floor, and we plated it up and we sealed it up good. And then we proceeded to use some mastic to seal every seam on all the ducts. Every junction where sheet metal is bent or goes into another straight run, every seam has to be masticed up. That's a water-based mastic, low VOC. So there's no environmental or health issues. And then on top of that, we use a UL 181 aluminum tape to bond with the mastic and get a good bond and seal on all the seams. Once all that's sealed up, then we want to go ahead and insulate all the ductwork, and for that we use an R6 foil-backed fiberglass duct wrap, and we want to make sure that we get as much of the duct as possible insulated in the unconditioned space. We don't want any heat leaking out. We want that heat delivered efficiently to where it's needed. So after we've completed all this work, the insulation of the ducts, the sealing of the ducts with mastic, the taping of all the duct seams with UL 181 tape, fixing of the broken registers, we feel that the customer is going to see a definite increase in their comfort because the air is going to be delivered more efficiently to the places they want it, and also they're going to see a marked improvement in their energy bills.